kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Yeah, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Great Northeast, where we're at not so sunny New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Sign out front reminding us to live free and race. Welcome, the Sim Racing Media's coverage of the Holyoke Cornhole 200, live here from Loudon, New Hampshire. It's the All-American Racing League Blue-Gray Plastic Foundation Cup Series, and we're here. We're excited to do 2.0 of the Holyoke Cornhole 200, this time from, like I said, Great Northeast. I'm Cliff in the booth alongside Matt Metler for Sim Racing Media. We're glad to have you. Matt, how are you tonight?
I am Cornholio fantastic, ready to blow some kernels all over this racetrack here tonight. We team back up with one of the series' great sponsors from earlier in the year. Happy to have them back on board here tonight as we take a trip up north to the flats of New Hampshire. Not going to find any banking here around this 1.6-mile oval, as that field is already set behind that iRacing.com pace truck. Look who's in the top and starting in the front. The normal suspects, that one machine P1, Lilith Peters, Louis Clark, that making a change. He's back to that 77 car now, not in the 8. Peter Terrio, Evan Clapper, Cameron Harris, the top 5. So, Cliff, we have the usual suspects right up front. Got a great sponsor on board tonight, presenting this race right here on SRM in prime time. So strap yourself in. It's about to get wild.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're a first-timer. If you're subscribed, be sure to have the bell notifications on if you want to get a ping every time we go live. But let's get to it here for the Julio Cornhole Boards 200 as they get started. Lilith Peters taking the pole with Louis Clark covering in that 77 machine for McQuaid out tonight. They take the front row. Peter Terrio and Evan Clapper going to come up in the second row. Cameron Harris, David Herrick going to take the third row here. Christian Delgado going to start 7th with David Lorfano outside of him in that 4th row. Justin Horton starting 9th, Kyle Purcell 10th. Scott Leonard is going to start 11th, and Larry Garn is going to roll off 12th.
Yeah, and 13th, that's going to be Nathan Christensen. 14th, that's going to belong to the 72 machine of Jeremy Flanagan. 15th, Travis Juggles Rodriguez in that 7 machine. 16th, the Ford Mustang, Tyrone Yoke Jr. 17th, the 00, Sean Purcell. Look for him to come through the field as he has his work cut out for him, but he's a very, very capable driver who often finds himself up near the front when it's go time. And starting 19th this evening, your final starter tonight, that's going to be the 9 of Adam Angerstein.
Yeah, some huge names here, and as we roll into round 8 here of the season, the All-American Racing League gets set to take off here at New Hampshire. The battle for the front is heating up with Will Peters sitting on top and holding on to that top spot, but it's getting heated up. We'll go to a break after this week, and then we'll come back for another 4 races straight, and we're going to get ever closer to the playoffs here. And things are really starting to matter as far as points are concerned in the season. So here we go. Pace truck about to take the hard left turn off, and we'll get rolling.
Hopefully you guys are strapped in. It's about to get wild, AARL style. Here we go, the Geico restart zone. Lilith Peters has the button. And we got a drag race as we currently go under green flag conditions for the first time here in prime time. Lilith Peters work in the bottom. She's going to slide up a little bit. 77, Patrick McQuaid holding very, very tough on the outside. 2 great competitors here, often no strangers to battling against each other. As McQuaid now is going to have a slight advantage as it looks like.
A little bit of a reminder there, that's not McQuaid in that 7-7. That's actually Louis Clark subbing in for him, and they were side by side. Had to get it sorted out though, but Clark will take that top spot away from that 1 machine.
Thank you for that, Cliff. I'm so used to McQuaid being in the 77.
Yeah,
I didn't even bother to look at the name.
I didn't want to interrupt you. You're doing a great job, but yeah, Louis Clark's gonna. So you can't keep this guy out of a race car for very long. David Lorfano comes back, driving in that 8 machine, so he's back in his ride. And Louis Clark says, "Well, I need to ride." Just so happens Patrick McQuaid is on a family vacation this week and was able to accommodate him with that said ride.
Well, we know what said ride has in store for Louis Clark, as the last time he made a car change, he wound up dominating the race, taking the win, and yet again he finds himself another great piece of equipment out there to utilize and run tonight in that 77 machine. He's right out front where he was the last time he had someone else's car out there putting on a clinic. Let's see if he can keep that momentum moving. Currently going back through the field, Lilith Peters in that 1 machine. Currently down 1 spot.
We got a caution here. Evan Clapper in trouble. As we get a quick slow motion here from the view in the blimp. 57 machine of Evan Clapper. We'll just go ahead and
got a little bit of a tag there from David Harr in that 15. Oh, that there. Now that one there is going to leave a mark.
The worst of it came after the initial hit. Let's see if we can get some other angles of that, and
yeah, that'll certainly relocate your kidneys and other organs. You're inside that race car taking a shot like that. The initial love tap just kind of sends him sideways, gets it wound up, but then he decides to start moving a little too soon, and that 5 is just going to come on down and just wallop the rear corner of that race car. And that's the one you got to worry about. That's the impact that's going to leave a mark and potentially throw some suspension damage, knock the toe out of that race car, perhaps.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's definitely some serious damage. He was okay, but then that second hit really caused a lot of damage. He's probably going to need to go up and use his fast repair if he wants to stay a factor here in this race today.
You know, we always say if you're going to have a mistake of misfortune, you know, try to get that out of the way early in the race. That way you still have time to rebound and recover. So there's obviously the silver lining in this case here, but you're right. Probably going to have to take a fast repair. Won't have that peace of mind security for later on if mayhem strikes again. So he's really going to have to adjust his strategy and how he attacks this racetrack, knowing he doesn't have that reset in his back pocket anymore.
We got about 5 or 6 drivers here coming down pit road. Tail end of the field there, all visiting.
You know, that makes sense. This track here, you know, it is no stranger to burning out those Goodyear Eagles. And if you're in the back, come on down, throw some more fuel in it while you're at it. I'm not too sure if, you know, only a handful of laps warrants putting tires on that race car with only 6 laps currently in the book so far. But if you're further in the back, you know, start thinking about your strategy to work your way up front now. So great heads up driving by those guys being proactive further on in the back of the field.
Yeah, they got 5 tire sets. Maybe thinking possibly get rid of that first set scrubbed up and start fresh here. Maybe I would hope you save a set for the end, but maybe thinking they're not going to need them. We'll see. I know the tire fall off will be drastic once it starts to fall off. It's really no stopping it, so I think tires will become a factor towards the end of this. I would definitely keep a set in my back pocket, and I think it's a little too early at this point.
A little too early, but I think once you're about, like you said, halfway through a run or so, those corners, making passes, attacking on the racetrack, that is going to be dicey and treacherous. But right now, here we go. Lights are off on that Chevrolet Silverado. Currently out in front, pacing this 1.6-mile oval in the Northeast. And Cliff, the weather is so fitting for what you would typically see up there, you know, around the time of this race. Overcast, cloudy, cool breeze in the air. A lot of grip in the racetrack, though. And that's one of the pluses to not having that sun beating down on the asphalt.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's cool. I think it's about 70 degrees out tonight. We looked at the weather before we started. I don't know exactly what the change has been, if any. But it's definitely cool. It's overcast, no sun, no real hot temperatures out here. So there should be a lot of grip as long as you can find that perfect line here is kind of like, it's not too middle, but it's not too low, but it's definitely not high. I don't really know what to call it.
It's great weather for playing cornhole.
Speaking of, Holio Cornhole Boards, our sponsor here tonight. Happy to have them on board for the second time as we are about to go green here. 8 laps underway. We'll cross the line for 9. And that's 77 of Louis Clark. Shoots out like a cannon, as he usually does. They'll fight side by side right behind him. Lilith Peter's going to grab second place with David Hara and Peter Terrio fighting it out here for third. Oh, the 15 of Hara got sideways there coming off the corner. Is going to collect Peter Terrio with him. And as they continue to wreck behind him.
Multiple cars. The big one breaks out here just after the restart. Is that started with the 15 of David Hara getting flung sideways. And all these cars being bunched up on the racetrack, just nowhere to go. Multiple cars involved, spinning, contact. Hard contact right there. Oh, look what happened there.
Not a great angle on that replay. Kind of hard to spot it out here. But he gets loose on his own. Yeah, and he gets loose on his own, and Peter Terrio looks like was just there and had nowhere to go.
Yeah, just freak mistake there by the 15. Just got on the accelerator a little too hard, and around it went.
Tyrone Yo involved here as well in the 2 cars. That was mayhem up front. He tries to make it through here.
My goodness.
Did a pretty good job of getting it slowed up, as some of these other cars didn't really have that opportunity. But we'll have just about everyone but the top 6 coming down pit road now. As that definitely going to cause some frustrations and some damage out there. Some of these top cars, as you see Peter Terrio sitting here on pit road, going to get some extended visit. He's gonna keep his fast repair in that back pocket and have it towards the end, or hope to anyway. Probably gonna spend the rest of his race getting some damage fixed out, along with some of these other guys. Evan Clapper in that first wreck. David Harrer involved in this recent one. You got Larry Garnes, Jeremy Flanagan, Tyrone Yo Jr. all in the pits right now. Meanwhile, still up front is that 7-7 from or Louis Clark from across the pond as we run lap 11 under caution here at New Hampshire for the Holyoke Cornhole Boards 200. We're going to step aside for one moment. Don't go away. We'll go side by side. You won't miss any of that action. Be right back. As we come down the backstretch, we'll get back to green flag racing here. Live in New Hampshire, the Holyoke Cornhole Boards 175. It's actually not 200. Apologize for that as well, as we're only running 175 laps here tonight. It's a little bit shorter than these guys are used to too, so you might get a little bit of that urgency here tonight. It's a very, not very, but a little shorter race than we're used to, so wanted to point that out. Pace truck's going to dive off the 1 and the 77 will take us back to it. '77 going to dive to the top side and then grab that line, which is low to mid side. You definitely don't want to run too low here. It's very dangerous down there. Of course, you don't want to run too high either. We're seeing some of these guys and gals running the, I say that, perfectly not too low line on the middle side.
Hold a pretty wheel. That's what you got to do. And you're right, man. That 77 Louis Clark, another great restart. He really has that down to an art form, the way he's able to just execute these restarts time and time again, especially, with very good competition right off the back bumper of that race car. Talking about the 1 of Lilith Peters, the 10 of Kyle Purcell. He's up there, up 6 spots already. Travis Juggles Rodriguez, he's up 10 spots already inside the top 5. So definitely a lot of great talent running right around that one machine, or I'm sorry, the 77 machine, who continues to lead out here.
Sorry, caution possibly going to fly Christian Delgado off the track. We'll take a look at that. You stay green, but I was highlighting David Lorfano running 3rd here in his first race back. So hats off to him. But what did happen to Christian Delgado, if anything?
Yeah, it looked like he just got maybe loose off the corner there and took the off-road lawnmower line there, going through the grass perhaps, but he seems to have it gathered back up.
We jump back here with Delgado. It looked like he might have caught up to the car in front of him a little quicker than he expected, and had to get a little heavy on those brakes as well, so that didn't help him at all.
Yeah, that looks like exactly what happened there, Cliff. He just didn't realize he was closing in that quick. By the time he did, to stay off the back of the other race car, great heads-up move. He just that weight transfer, that disruption, just kind of made that car just step the back end out. And no harm, no foul though.
No harm, no
Got it
foul,
back.
but we got some harm and foul on the racetrack here. Nathan Christensen in trouble. Let's take a look here. What happened to his 3 machine? Ran out of real estate there with the 28 up against the wall. That was not the bulk of it though, was it?
That was the hook and snatch there, just the old McTwist like a fish hook. And you're right, just kind of ran out of room right there. They touched once, bounced off each other. And
and then Evan Clapper going to be involved too. He's up on that high side. I don't know if that 3 knew he was over there and was already wrecking. So
the way that looks, it gives off that the 3 had no idea that Clapper was there. And obviously he didn't know it until it was too late, as he was already, in the process of being, spun into the wall there off the nose of Clapper.
Went from bad to worse for Nathan Christensen there, as he's in getting some pit, probably get a fast repair, or at least get some heavy damage fixed up. Cautions here you don't get a lot of time on pit road. It's only a 1 mile track, and you get around here pretty quickly under caution, so you don't have a ton of time, even though the yellow is out. One of the smaller, I mean, it's 1 mile around, but it seems like one of the smaller 1 milers. But hey, thanks to the Shawnee out there watching on YouTube, watching us live, rooting for David in his return. David Lorfano in the 8 machine here. We did highlight he was up to 3rd place. He's at 5 spots from where he started. So doing a heck of a job back here behind the wheel.
And it's great to see you guys in the chat supporting these drivers in this field tonight. David Larfano, he's got the rep in the house here. SRM chat showing him the love. You guys want us to feature some of these drivers in the field tonight? Sound off. Let us know who you're looking at. We'll do everything we can to get you some more screen time of them as they're out here competing in prime time here tonight. But back to the front, Louis Clark in that 77, that borrowed McQuaid ride. And he's right back at another day at the office. A new car for a new track, and we're right back up in P1 where everything is perfectly fine with the world. But right off the back bumper, it's not going to be easy with that one machine of Lilith Peters. Just a clutch race car driver, so good on the short run, all the different phases, between the fuel fall off, the tire fall off. That woman is just is solid. And really does just a phenomenal work inside that race car from the driver's position. Certainly Louis Clark's going to keep an eye on her, try to see and manage what she's going to be throwing at him to stay up front here tonight.
Yeah, not only are we going to be chasing the one machine here, up front, but we're also all chasing her in the standings as she sits atop them. And she's top of the class right now as she sits on top of those points, and everyone's basically chasing her, especially Justin Horton, Cameron Harris, 2nd and 3rd place in the standings.
Yeah, she's literally queen of the hill right now, sitting P1 on top of the charts. Great insight there, Cliff. Thanks for that.
Well, her and Louis Clark are going to battle it out, much like they did last week. And any time that Louis Clark enters a race, and Lilith Peters is as well, they'll always be fighting towards the front. But they got the Lorfano here back, the great Lorfano back battling in front as well. And I think he's hungry. I think he's back on track and really wanting to prove that he's got something to show for these guys, and sitting back at home watching on SRM is not his way to get it done.
Now that Camaro's looking spicy with the eye. Agrees we're back under green flag racing. Another great restart there for the 77 of Louis Clark. And how about David Larfano in the 8 machine? He gets one heck of a jump as he's going to overtake the 10 of Kyle Purcell. Now he's going to currently move him back to the 3rd spot there. I thought he actually got it. Gained a position, but he did restart in 3rd. There's just some heavy battling going on between Kyle Purcell in that 8 machine of David Larfano. Those are 2 guys that are no strangers to doing battle on the racetrack.
Oh.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I sure did. Was that? Nope. That was the 14 of Scott Leonard. Rodriguez. Not sure what exactly all happened there, but it was mighty eventful for that 14 machine.
Yeah, I guarantee you that 14 definitely had his heart skip a beat inside the cockpit of that race car. That was pretty big.
I just wanted to, I was about to shout out Travis Rodriguez here in the 7 machine, just inside the top 5 here. He's up 10 spots from where he started, but not the biggest mover tonight so far. Adam Angerstein right behind him in the 9 machine. Both Toyotas. Angerstein up 13 spots from where he started.
Yeah, Travis juggles Rodriguez. He's rolling right now, running, carrying over some of that energy, that synergy that he got last week over the past couple weeks. The same with Adam Angerstein in that Toyota as well. He was showing some strength at times over the past couple of weeks. And here they are again right now early on inside the top 10, well into the top 10, occupying the 5th and 6th position. Up 10 spots, that's for Juggles Rodriguez, and 13th for the 9 of Adam Angerstein. So they are on it right now, and they are on the assault, driving their way to the front. We'll see if they can get all the way there. But great heads-up racing so far by two drivers.
Sorry, side by side there as they get into the corner. Angerstein takes that position away, but Travis Rodriguez right back underneath him with the crossover move. These guys are battling it out. This is the most exciting. Oh, the 9, he tapped the wall a little bit there. He falls back behind.
Yeah, he just gave it a little drift-style love tap there, wall tap. That's really not going to hurt anything. I didn't think he was actually going to go full send on that for that position. I thought maybe that gave him trouble with a little bit of picking up, just a little bit of a push there, getting loose, and he sure did. Was able to gather it back up.
So Rodriguez is going to grab that top 5 spot. Right behind the 10 of Kyle Purcell, and he's now got the 15 though. Ready and poised to possibly take that position away. He's got the bottom side that's not too low. I reiterate that you do not want to jump all the way down to that bottom yellow line. You're going to regret it. But they're side by side here, getting into 3. Or sorry, into, yeah, we had 3, sorry. Coming out of 4 now.
Yeah, all these corners really look the same. There's no banking, nothing unique to identify them. And like Little John says, get low. That's not what you want to do here. And at this racetrack, as it gets super slick down there, right around the tight apexes. You want to be a little bit off the bottom, just like Clip was saying, or the other line, about a lane or so down, or a lane and a half down from the wall. That seems to be the sweet spot where these cars really tend to make the most grip and are able to rotate the apex of the corner. Oh, here we go. The 28 back under caution here. Peter Theriault, past champion.
Yeah,
he's got a little bit of damage on that Mustang.
He's outside the 15 here. He gets loose and tries to catch it. He's going to hook and take that outside wall down.
We were talking about this early on, Cliff. Once these tires, got a couple heat cycles on them and started to wear out, how are these cars going to react in traffic? And we're starting to see it right now. If you just get a little too aggressive on that loud pedal, it's going to be around in a hurry, and it looks like it's really difficult to catch.
They're going to have a bit of damage there to fix up. Really caught pretty hard when it hooked and went the outside wall. It's unfortunate, but he'll come down and get that damage fixed up. I think he was working on some damage from another incident earlier on, so he might have some more to do. Might be enough now to just go ahead and take that fast repairs. We'll go back to the front here. Looks like Clark, Lorfano, and Hera going to stay out. And just about everybody behind them coming in. Oh, looks like we got a few others staying out. Larry Garnes, Justin Horton. Looks like Peters, Harris, Purcell, Clapper, Rodriguez, Delgado, Uberpacker, Angerstein, Christensen, Yo Jr., Theriault, all coming down pit road. Jeremy Flanagan still there. Is Jeremy Flanagan? No, he's back on the racetrack now, but spent some extensive time on pit road. My condolences to Kaiju Cat Motorsports and all of Zorku Nation out there if you're watching. Jeremy Flanagan working out some kinks in his race here. Hopefully he can make something happen as time goes on. We're still early in the race, only 31 laps in. 175 here, but let's see.
No, you're right. That saving grace being early on in this race with all these drivers having trouble early on here, it's going to give them maximum amount of opportunities to get that race car fixed, patched back up, or do you choose to burn the fast repair early? Decisions have to be made, and you're going to have to obviously alter now your strategy here. Back up to the point, that 77 machine, Louis Clark doing Louis Clark type things. David Larfano continuing to impress in his return back. Currently residing in second position, David Hara in the 15, Larry Garnes and Justin Horton make up the top 5 as they currently run right now.
Let's go ahead and see. Still single file here. I just want to grab a quick word with Peter Terrio if we can. Let's try to key him up. Hey Peter, it's Cliff and Matt in the booth. You got us?
I got you guys.
Hey man, pretty wild race so far. Just want to check in with you, see how everything was going, and what's it like out there?
Well, obviously it's kind of loose, as you guys saw. I didn't have to use my fast repair yet, which is good, and that last one actually gave me less damage than the first one, which I don't know how. But yeah, it's pretty skatey, and it's really hard to catch the car. But it's a lot of fun, very difficult track.
That sounds a lot like New Hampshire, but we'll let you get stacked up here. Good luck. You got some fighting to do to make your way back in front, but good luck. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see how I get through here. I'm a little worried about this 3-car man outside, but besides that, I think we'll have a fine time.
All right, thanks for talking with us.
Of course.
There we go, Cliff. Answers to our thoughts and what we thought we were seeing up here in the booth. Definitely the case out there on the racetrack. Car phantom snapping at times. It's loose and on the verge of out of control, but it is fun. They're having a blast as that iRacing.com pace truck peels down pit road one more time. That means all these V8s are roaring back to life as Louis Clark leads them down here one more time, climbing up back through the gearbox. Look at that restart by the 15 of David Hilberry. Billy Hara coming through, bringing the steam there. He got a great restart there. Is able to pull door to door with David Larfano. He's going to come, looks like he's going to, thought about pulling back in line, but he's going to rotate down low, see if maybe that 8 machine slips up a little bit. He's going to get a good exit coming out of turn number 4, and 15 is going to fall back in line. But what a run.
Sorry to interrupt you there. 27 jumping up in front of Justin Horton there. I was just going to throw out there, it's kind of important to know or understand, too, that these top four cars are all on the same team. The Hillbilly Motorsports and Mayhem Motorsports team joining up. There's 4 of them right now in the top 4, so these guys have got it going on here today at New Hampshire.
Yeah, they do. And yeah, they may be team cars, but there are individuals in that race car, and they're really racing each other really tight right now. But that's what you expect from these guys. They're all competitors. They all here from one thing. They put, in reap the rewards of all their hard work for the sponsors, everything that goes into getting ready, these cars ready for race weekend or race week here. Is how about the 27 there going a lap down early? That Silver Bullet has been so good at so many races over the course of this season. Just currently off the pace right now as he got caught up in some trouble early on. As our leaders now currently working through lap traffic. Louis Clark catching everyone at the right time, smooth sailing up front, able to kind of increase the gap over the 8 of Larfano, almost 1 second, and now you got to go 1.2 seconds back to David Hara in that 15.
Yeah, behind them you got Hara dropping back or fighting with the 1 here. Lil Peters, as she's jumped up out of 3rd place.
Ooh, she just...
Yeah. Ooh, big shove to the 8 there.
Oh.
But, oh, that's going to cost him. David
Save
Hara.
it, save it, save it. Oh, great job by Hara keeping that car from not coming back up into traffic. Cliff, not to cut you off, I mean, you saw within 15 seconds there, multiple cars just having problems rotating through the center of these corners and trying ever so gingerly to get back on the loud pedal.
Yeah, it's very finicky here. Once you reach the point of too much, it's too late, and then you're trying to snap it back into place. And there's such a flat track with no banking to help you, and not a lot of grip other than that one real thin groove there towards the bottom. We're not at the bottom, but not in the middle. It's too high if you're in the middle. This place is very finicky, and if you're not on it, you can lose it very easily. We're seeing some of these drivers struggle with that. As we battle now, shooting up for third. You got Cameron Harris coming up into the mix, trying to fight with David here for that third spot.
It was only a matter of time before that 27 machine of Cameron Harris got that thing going back in the right direction. Kyle Purcell also moving his way back up through the field, overtaking the 67 there of Justin Horton. That's going to move Kyle Purcell back up to the 5th spot. Now inside the top 5 in that Toyota Camry.
Justin Horton trying to use that high line a lap ago, finding the hard way does not work very well. Sometimes you just kind of get slid up in there, and you gotta ride it out, and it's a terrible lap. Louis Clark continues to lead. Lillis Peters right behind him, but then you got a small gap back to Cameron Harris. He's trying to hold on to third right now. He took that away from David Lafano. Now has got Kyle Purcell and Justin Horton behind him, 4th and 5th. A little bit of a shake-up here.
Yeah, a little bit of a shake-up, but you can just see the demeanor in these race cars, just how dicey and twitchy it is out there just rotating these cars through the corner, let alone trying to make a pass on somebody. You can see the distance they're giving everybody. They're just, using, gentleman's code, race, being very professional out there, giving each other a little bit more room as these cars are just bad loose right now. And I know being at the top of the racetrack, per se, like we said, Cliff, not maybe the fastest way around, but with as twitchy and as unbalanced as these cars are at times, even if it's not faster, if you have more security in the car rotating the corner, the top may not be a bad decision, at least right now.
Yeah, very well said. As you were talking about it being kind of giving each other room, we saw it right there as we moved in this pack here. They were very tight together, and now as we go through a lap or so, they start to spread out just a little bit. You see the 5 tapping the wall just a kiss, but then he's going to let up a little bit and make some room. I say that now, but he kind of forces the issue on the top side. You see that won't work. He'll dive back behind the 8 of David Lorfano. That's the fight for 7th and 8th right here. One of the closest battles on the racetrack at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is a close battle. Is that 7 of Trevor Chubbs Rodriguez? He has got those biscuits full send cooking in the oven right now. That was close. He anticipated a slot being there available, and he stuck his nose there. And look at this, 8 bad loose again. I mean, anytime they try to just pick up the pace a little bit, I mean, it's almost disaster, striking and taking out multiple cars in these turns right now. So it looks like these drivers are just racing on ice skates as the 5 continues to almost get into the wall again, just trying to get that car to rotate.
We're at the edge of out of control here in New Hampshire as the 8 and 16 touch just a little bit here. Lap 46 in the books, and we're seeing it's very loose out here. We thought that with the sun being not present and a cooler track temperature that we'd see a little bit of a grippier surface, but possibly proving us wrong here as, I'm sorry, Lilith Peters takes the lead away from Louis Clark. We missed that. We apologize, but we can actually show it to you.
Yeah, I certainly didn't anticipate that type of a run that quick from the one of Lilith Peters. But that's kind of what she does. She sets you up. She's great at playing the strategy
Did
side.
she make this pass on the outside?
She took it on the outside.
Wow, it's an amazing run there for the 1 to get around Louis Clark in that 77. I wonder what that's going to mean for her tires. I mean, 1 lap pushing it that hard on the top side is really going to do a number on your rubber. It's going to start getting sloppy. It looks like she was in last lap 30. She got about 18, 19 laps on these tires, so I'd say at about 20 they're going to start to fall off. Hopefully she didn't use up a little too much, just try to get that pass done on the outside.
Well, even if she knew she was going to basically give up the last of the good in those Goodyear Eagles, she executed it right and was able to gap the 77 in the process. I mean, that was savage, going to the top and making that pass.
Well, looking at my notes and my numbers here, I think I know what's going on. Louis Clark's been out there since the start of this race on that set of tires, so he's got that sloppy rubber going on, and Lilith Peters able to make that pass probably pretty easily on that top side. Louis probably let that go. Oh, the lap 50 here, we got a caution. Oh no, looks like the 28 in trouble again, Peter Terrio.
Oh, that is just so unfortunate. Cliff, sometimes it just seems like if it's not your night, you're the magnet, or you're just, for whatever reason, the one generating all the yellows, and that just seems to be the case right now.
Terrio having a hard time today on this flat track. This time, like loose on his own again, but didn't make contact with anything, so much better than result than last time. So there's that. But you're right, having a, hate to use the word, but a little bit of a caution magnet here tonight, trying to get this car underneath him. We knew drivers were going to struggle. We knew it was going to be, it's not an easy racetrack. I think I'm going to leave it at that.
It's almost one of the greatest examples of you have to be slow to go fast. And that's basically just saving these tires and babysitting them to the extreme levels here, because you can see just how tough it was just to rotate the corner here, let alone trying to, reposition yourself underneath somebody or to overtake, make a pass. As we've seen how many near misses or could have been a crash out there on the racetrack that didn't happen. So look for most of these drivers, I would assume, right, Cliff, to come down pit road, get some service on that race car, get that security back underneath them in the form of 4 Goodyear Eagles.
Yeah, Louis Clark absolutely coming down, just about everybody else as well. Peters is going to stay out. It's like the 2 of Tyrone Yo Jr. is going to stay out. Both pitted on lap 30. So in a little bit different strategy here, they're deciding to stay out. Probably like the way this set of tires feels for them. No need to come down yet. They know there's going to be more cautions.
Exactly.
It's going to be one of those type of races where you're just going to have to rely on that being a part of it,
Yeah, you're just...
Go ahead.
Sorry about that, Cliff. You're just going to have to trust the process, right? And no one staying out there on older tires, as a race car driver, hey, I'm going to be at a disadvantage here. There's going to be a lot of cars passing me, but you have to have that mental toughness to just let things fall into place, especially as you see the one of Lilith Peters here, the 10 of Kyle Purcell. They're going to be at a disadvantage, but they currently have a game plan. They have a strategy, and they just kind of got to ride through it, let some of these cars go by if they're faster, and if everything comes back full circle and execute like they normally do very well, they'll find themselves in victory lane here tonight. But a lot of times the psychological side here, it's anything but easy.
Looks like the 2 decided to come down pit road after all, thought better of it. He's going to have to use some new rubber, and the 1 will join Kyle Purcell, or I should say Kyle Purcell will join the 1 in the front row. So really, everyone's on new tires now, except for Peters. But we know she's fast. If she can keep it out front here, I think she'll do just fine. But she's going to have to come down, again before the rest of the field does. So it's going to cause some strategy decisions to be made.
Yet, regardless of that, I assure you the nerves and the stress levels are probably just a little elevated inside the cockpit of that one machine, as she's got a lot of tough competitors right around her that have fresh tires on that race car. So she's going to have to just try and hold on here, ride it out. You know, I wouldn't put up too much of a fight here. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you accidentally get a chrome horn. Race the racetrack. Don't race yourself here. Is how about that drive so far by that 10 machine of Kyle Purcell, up 8 spots. Rodney Uberpecker up 15 as we got him lined up, restacked, and here we go. Back on the loud side of things, the green flag back in the air right here in New Hampshire. Lilith Peters gets a heck of a restart.
She absolutely does, but they're almost 2 and 3 wide right behind her as the rest of the pack trying to keep up. Fighting really hard for any position they can get here as 3 wide, 7 on the outside of that.
Yeah, 7 on the outside, the 5 back just grazing the wall a little bit. Look at that power move by the 77 of Louis Clark. And Cliff, to come back to your point, this is when you have to get it, because this is when the tires have the most security and the most stability in that race car. They can at least drive.
Sorry.
Go for it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As we look back from Clark's machine, as the Hornets are swarming immediately behind these leaders. You can see the foam from their mouth as they chase down the 1 and 77. Oh, the yellow is going to come back out.
Oh, we got multiple cars.
Scott Leonard as well.
Yeah, like you said, the 72, the 10 of Kyle Purcell.
Oh, this is happening right in front of these guys.
Did you see that impact? Oh my goodness. That Camaro, that 8 machine, I mean, he went straight into the wall.
Yeah, we're going to have to back it up just a
David
little bit
Larfano.
here. And we'll jump high above here. What's happening? Yeah, you got the 10 and the 16 there are going to get together. That's Delgado. And one of the Purcell brothers being Kyle. And a lot of innocent bystanders there.
Yeah, and all of that, somehow the 8 of David Larfano squares up the front bumper of this car to the outside retaining wall in just full sends and just violent impact on that 8 machine.
Well, welcome back, Mr. Larfano. Happy to have you back. How's that wall feeling? Looks to me like he's got a fresh car, so probably used up that fast repair there. And he's going to get back at it there as you see him steaming around the racetrack here to get back in line with the rest of the field. He's going to have some work to do, but I think he's going to have a little bit of steam and a little bit of a chip on his shoulder to fight his way back to the front. Be excited to see that 8 machine work his way back through. Still in the lead lap, so as long as he can stay with it. And we got another opportunity here again with another caution coming out to get all you can while you can. And the rubber's still fresh out here. 8 laps is not a lot on these tires. Just got some heat in them, to be honest. And probably got some real good rubber still out here to make something happen. The 1 machine, every lap we run here is more laps towards her tires starting to fade off. But we did see Louis Clark go 50 laps on his tires before he changed them. So if that's the case in the longevity of it here, I say the 1 car's got another 20 laps on her rubber.
Yeah, she definitely has you're right on the money, about a 20-lap deficit on the tires on that 1 machine, you know, compared to the 77 of Louis Clark, Travis Juggles Rodriguez, Cameron Harrison Company. Travis continues to have a great run going in here tonight in that 7 machine, up 12 spots. Big shout out to him. Great drive so far, man. Probably has a big smile on his face inside the race car, as he is having probably one of the better runs we've had over the course of this season.
Yeah, Rodriguez sitting just outside the top 10 here at 14th in points. So a really good run here would really poise him well to come back after the break. You know, when we get back, we'll go to Talladega. So kind of a wild card. You'd like to have a good week before you go into a race like that, or at least I would. You know, you want to kind of throw some points down under your belt before you get to the big track that could just
Like
give
strapping
you
yourself into a kamikaze. You don't know where you're going to wind up.
yeah, it could be a really, really bad day, or it could be worse. It's Talladega, one of those wild card tracks. Like I said, you want to have a good race beforehand, so you don't feel too much like you're trying to catch up when you do get after Talladega. So here we are. Pace car's back off. Green flag's going to be in the air. 60 of 175, just almost halfway as the one shoots out of a cannon. Takes back the top spot where she has been most of the day, but those older tires are showing as she slides just a little bit. Louis Clark's going to take advantage of that and get right to her bumper.
Yeah, even with those older tires, the way that car shoots out of a cannon on the restart, Lilith Peters is probably one of the best in the business at restarts, especially on old tires. As that 77 Louis Clark, brand new rubber on all four rims on that race car, going to be able to catapult him back to the front, check him back to P1 in the 77 machine.
These two are going to be fighting all day long. They have been already. Oh, trouble again on the racetrack, possibly. Yep, the 5 is around, but they're going to stay green as he's out of the racing groove. Or really, the rest of the field is just on the other side of the racetrack. We'll jump back up front, but we will take a look at what did happen to Rodney.
Yeah, Rodney Uberpacker there doing a great job of realizing that the caution did not fly and got, getting back up to speed in a hurry, because you can lose a lot of time there. You see him working the bottom of the racetrack all the way down to the slick stuff, and that's exactly what happens. Loses either lost the downforce or the grip, or a combination of both in that race car.
Yeah,
and it just stepped out to lunch.
We talked about it earlier in the race when we were just getting started, man. That's a dangerous spot down there. You don't want to be down there, and that's exactly why. But good on race control, our good friend Corey up there. Also like to talk his head off once in a while on these races for Sim Racing Media, so we love having the company. Just a great call there to not throw that caution, car was out of the wasn't a danger to the races, so he was able to get going, and I'm sure the 5 enjoyed that too. You don't want to be the cause of a caution, especially when we've already had a good handful of them. We want to keep this race going, so here we are. Louis Clark's going to take that top spot back not too long ago, but now is putting a gap of 1.3 seconds on Lilith Peters in that one machine. Starting to see those tires be a factor, I think. And we got the silver bullet here up to the top 3.
Yeah, Louis Clark taking the rest of the competition to Gapplebee's right now, over a 2-second lead. And you know what's interesting, Cliff? I thought for sure, as quick as Louis Clark was able to get around the 1, my heart kind of sank a little bit, because I anticipated, the 27, the 7, the 15 getting on by Lilith as well, but that's not the case. She has re-cemented, re-grounded herself right there in that second place position, losing only 1 spot on a 20-lap deficit on tires. That says a lot about the race car and that driver inside there.
Behind her, the 67 having some contact there. That's Justin Horton against the inside wall in the 67 machine.
Yeah, he was certainly pointed the wrong way.
Here we are with the replay, side by side coming across the line. Just comes down a bit on the 15. I'm not sure he knew he was there.
Yeah, I think he got loose there. He broke traction, and he had the car just kind of went down the hill on him to catch it. And the 15, O'Hara was there and didn't have just wrong place, wrong time, or wrong place, right time.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on how you look at it. One way or another, we are back under caution here. We're 68 of 175, just halfway here. We'll go side by side, so you won't miss any of the action. And we'll be right back after a word from our merchandise department. Stay tuned. Back at the racetrack. We are definitely not halfway. About 71 of 175. Not quite to halfway yet, but we are getting there. Got excited.
But speaking of being excited, cornholio boards here again. Hopefully here in New Hampshire, you got enough time to get out there with the bean bags out there as well. Get some high flying corn action while you're watching the high flying racing action. It goes hand in hand together. Big shout out to them coming back on board again, being the primary race sponsor of AARL once again up here in the Northeast. This time is that 77 machine of Louis Clark. Got a little different look out in the outside though. Look who it is. Juggles continuing to dice it up to the front. Back to the green side of things. They're going to stand on the loud pedal once again. The 7 and 77 drag racing side by side. Deep down into 1 and 2. Oh, Kyle Purcell. Something was way wrong with the entry on that corner. He just about hit the wall.
Yeah, Rodriguez going to smack the wall there hard in that 7. I was about to say it's a lucky front row with the 777. But it got unlucky in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he definitely didn't mean to Captain Clank the wall there.
That's having some trouble there getting that car back under him.
Yeah, probably got the tires there just a little on the warm side of things there. Or is he just driving that hard? Driving like he stole it, because we haven't seen this type of performance out of that 7 camp so far this season. And hey, you know what? Sometimes if you're up there, you just got to go full send and take the good with the bad. But still, great performance, that 7 machine up there. 12 spots on the night, biggest move of the race so far. That's the 7 machine of Travis Schiffels Rodriguez.
Rodriguez coming off of a top 5 last week at Charlotte. So feeling very confident. Is up here in the top 3.
Yeah, just like we were talking about earlier, just that momentum breeds momentum. And he had that great finish last week. So did Adam Angerstein, had a good run last week. He was strong at times. And he's just building off that momentum. You know, now he finds himself further inside that top 5, mixing it up inside the top 3. Just look how tight this is here between the 1, the 27, and the 16.
Yeah, a gaggle of bees here, as you could throw a blanket over them just there. It's spread out just a little bit, but the 1 catching right back up to the 27 and 16. They're packed up to the 17 and the 14. All kinds of numbers here. It's Flanagan, Scott Leonard, Da Vinci, Rodriguez, Jeremy Flanagan, of course.
Oh!
27 right up on the tail end of the 72 there. They stay straight. I'm not sure how they both kept it in the line, but they did.
And that had disaster written all over it as the silver bullet looked to just be about. Oh, he's going to spin it by himself. Oh, no, that it'll come up the racetrack right in front of the 8 of David Larfano, who's having a great first part of this race at his return back. And he is going to be a heavy casualty here. Nothing he could do as that car was just coming right up the racetrack at him. Very unfortunate racing deal here as David Larfano now has major damage on that Chevrolet Camaro.
72 looked just fine all of a sudden. I think he got a little bit heavy on the brakes, or maybe not quite enough, and he just got loose getting into the corner here. The 8 of Larfano, nowhere to go.
I think these cars are phantom snapping on these drivers. I don't think they're getting much indication that grip is about to go. And not that the next gen car gives you that kind of security or that much warning, but just the way that these competitors are just losing it at once, it seems like it's catching them way off guard. And that just could be what's happening out there right now. It's just 1 minute it's planted, and the next minute it's out to lunch. And that's why you're just seeing these random freak spins that you typically don't see from these guys.
You're absolutely right. Definitely some freak snappy events here. Looks like everyone just about 6th on back is going to come into pit road here. Peter's electing to stay out again. She's recently in on lap 68, so 10 laps in on her tires. They're just starting to get warmed up and feeling good. She's going to keep those on the car, so continuing to stay a little bit off of the rest of the field when it comes to strategy, and I think it's paying off for her. She's able to keep that car up front and stay in that clean air.
Yeah, doing a masterful job as we see how challenging it is to hold on when you have new tires on your race car, let alone a 20 lap deficit. So great job by Lilith Peters executing out there down the racetrack, but these cautions also really helping her as well maintain that position. And the more laps you run under caution, those are less green flag laps on those tires on that one machine, which is going to help, preserve the grip or the balance in that race car just a little bit longer too. Continue back to the iPacing side of things out here at New Hampshire. Getting a lot of Chevrolet Silverado action. You thinking about buying one? Get a good look at that iRacing pace truck out there on the field. Just been putting on a show, pacing at the front tonight. Gonna go on board here with Lilith Peters. I like to call the GoPro Special Cam. Great shots coming to you by our managing producer here tonight, Cliff. Working some camera magic here. Just looking just off to the door pillar there on that one machine of Lilith Peters.
This gives you a good view here of what we were talking about, it being real overcast today. Not a very sunny day at all out here in New Hampshire. So, normally things look a little bit brighter, but it's just kind of dull out here. I don't want to call it gloomy, but we got no sunshine. Things are a little bit on the dark side. And I think the track just feels a lot different than what these drivers are used to. And we're seeing it out there with a lot of self-spins and unfortunate really what it's been most of the day is just self spins, and a couple of incidents where a couple cars got together, but 80-20, right? I think we're looking at a lot of self spinners today.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic amount of self spinners here. And could you imagine if it was sunny and the track temp was 108 degrees?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that'd be more of what they were used to, though. Maybe that would feel more natural to them, and they'd get up and race. Who knows? We're here now. Peters and Larry Garnes are going to take us to it as the green flag rolls out. Well, did I just say Larry Garnes? That's right. The 20 machine up 9 spots now, dropping to third, but restarting second there. Lap 81.
Yeah, Garnes is grunting right now. That car all the way up 9 spots, like you said, inside the top 5. We're in 4th right now, Larry Garnes. But how about Lilith Peters again? Another just phenomenally executed restart again on old tires. And these guys, all these competitors, Angerstein, Theriault, Lewis Clark, they know what she's going to do on these restarts. They have to be trying to anticipate and counter, trying to keep pace with her on that start of the race. And yet she's still able to just walk it out on them on old tires.
Doesn't seem
Here's
to be
Adam. Oh, big wreck. 4 cars off the track in the back. Is there wholesaling into the inside retaining wall there by the fence? So it looks like a used car lot.
The 5 and the 67 here are just kind of no man's land out here.
Yeah, they were way off into the abyss, deep into the infield, the innermost regions of that racetrack.
Didn't get a great indicator here of when this happened, so I have no choice to get a good view but to rewind here. Looking at it from the blimp. 3 and the 7 take. Oh, there's 2 incidents on the track at the same time. The 3 and the 5, I believe, getting together, and then also ahead of them, the 67 and it was the 67 and 5 ahead of the 3 and another vehicle there. So dual wrecks here happening at the same time towards the back of the field there.
Yeah, they literally simultaneously lit the wick on those fuses that started that chain reaction almost at the same time. And when you have 2 sets of cars go off the racetrack at once, I mean, we see what 1 car does, let alone 4, kind of scattering and hurling out of control, if you will. They brought it all the way down to the inside, very inside fence through the grass there. Able to get it wound up, though. Doesn't look like they're going to have too much damage, but they'll try to minimize on that type of activity here. Is it just seems like you even breathe on the back of someone's race car, just rotating through the corner. At any given moment, that car is just going to be like, nope, I'm not doing this anymore, and you're holding on for life. That back end is just giving up on you. But I'll tell you what.
Good.
Just going to say, so far, the 1 seems to have it figured out pretty good, and so does the 77. But outside of the 1 and the 77, a lot of these guys just continue to have wiggles and moments lap after lap. And they have to see if they can find something they can adjust in that race car with what they have available to kind of get some security in that race car.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do as a crew chief, when you're trying to tell a race car driver, in essence, to almost slow down, like, try to take it easy out there, slow it down just a bit, slow your pace down. Are you kidding me? I'm a race car driver. I'm trying to drive this machine as fast as it possibly can. And look, the 1 and everyone up front is getting away. So, no, I'm not going to slow down. So, yeah. It's hard to do. And, you kind of have to race this racetrack a lot like a road course. And sometimes you hear it in road courses, slow is fast. What that means is you gotta kind of be a little bit slower and more precise through the corners because they are flat. Basically like two flat track, almost 90-degree corners at each end, just a little bit bigger. But you really got to get it slowed down and get the car under you before you can attack this corner here. And of course, I talk about it up here in the booth. but very rarely do I get behind the wheel and actually put my money where my mouth is anymore. So hats off to these drivers for being out here and giving us a show tonight. Thank you for watching at home. If you're watching Sim Racing Media, check out our webpage, simracingmedia.com. You can see all that flashy merch we saw in the commercial. The flag is one of the coolest things I've ever owned. So into that cool stuff, go grab one, put it in your rig room at home or your sim room, whatever you call it. And if you're real cool, you can get your logo custom on the flag there, hanging up in your room. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, and we got those new coffee mugs in too with the handles now as well. That was a big request. Yep. Got the handles. We got you covered here on the SRM merch as well. So we're going to go back to the green flag racing here. They're going to stack up nice and tight once again. Lilith Peters catching these guys at the all-you-can-eat buffet, and she is checking out once again. How does she do it time and time again? She's got a knack for those restarts in this next-gen cars. Peter Terrio, he's going to break free in that Ford Mustang, highest running Ford in the field right now, currently in second. That 28 machine really starting to come on strong. And don't forget about Louis Clark, that 77. He's starting to work his way back up through the field as well. So we're currently still under green flag conditions as we went through a pretty vicarious caution cycle there. These drivers really trying to hope we can get into at least a long green flag situation here just to kind of get some more intel and figure out what their cars are going to do for the end of this one.
Yeah, you know, and I got my calculator out to make sure that before I said this I was accurate. We are past halfway now. This caution comes out again. It's like Larry Garn's having trouble today, and that snicker wasn't because of that, but what was about to come out of my mouth right before the caution came out was 10 laps past halfway and got a nice green flag run going here, and then lo and behold, the caution comes out. Larry Garn's in trouble. Let's see what happened to him.
Yeah, very unfortunate for that 20 machine. You see him working there in the middle and just,
oh, hello. 16 of Delgado's already sideways in front of him.
I mean, that 20 had great situational awareness. That 16 was way bad out of shape, and still he wasn't able to get that car woed down or in a position not to make contact. And it's a twofer right there.
I mean, this plot keeps getting thicker. So the 15 involved as well. David Hara had a big run here. 16 was coming down to close the door there. 16 gets a piece of the 15. Delgado goes around and collects Larry Garns with him. That was a pretty unfortunate series of events.
Yeah, you kind of have different. You have different accidents and different areas of energy just popping off almost simultaneously again here. The only thing I think you can do here, Cliff, and getting back to a question you asked me before we went green, I didn't have time to answer, is back your corners way up in this car and carry as much speed you can through the corner, but under a neutral load, so you're not upsetting the weight balance of that race car like you do when the shocks load, unload, you know, when you come off the throttle or transition to the brake, so forth. Just try to have that car rotate, keeping the weight, the shocks and everything pretty much as balanced as possible. Maybe that gets it done here, but you see what happens. I mean, you try to just pick up the throttle just a little bit, and these cars just aren't having it right now.
Yep, definitely a struggle for the cars, or the cars and the drivers really tonight. We're running lap 91 of 175. Got the Holio cornhole boards, 175. Holio cornhole bags and boards back on board for another race here this season. Big shout out to them for sponsoring the race so that they can help bring you this race at home, and these drivers are able to show their friends and families what they do, spending all their time behind their expensive steering wheels in their game room. You gotta have something to show for it. So tell your friends, tell your family, come watch the show. This is what I do. Spread the word. simracingmedia.com. Be sure to like and subscribe. And we will get back to Green Flag Racing here in just a moment. Wanted to give a shout out to here. Peter Terrio finds his way all the way back up to the front row here. We talked to him early in the race after he was in some trouble. So that just shows you really you can get into trouble here, and it's really how you react to it that really drives your outcome. And you put your nose down and you race hard with a clean car. Make your way back up to the front row. Let's see now that Peter Terrio's back up here if he's got anything for the one of Lilith Peters. Just a reminder, that's our reigning champ right there. So if anyone has the car to do it, it could be Peter Terrio. Of course, they got Louis Clark right behind them. The second row inside, and they're now Williamson right outside of row 2. So it's going to be a battle here again up front. The one will probably get a good jump on it. Let's see if the 28 can time it right. Pace car dives off. They get at it. Green flag waves. Peters and Terrio bring us down across the line. The one gets a good start and jumps back up front of the 28 there.
Oh, what a restart there by the one, putting the sleeper on the 28. It looked like they timed it perfectly, and then the one machine executes a great stutter start there. Able to gap again the 28 reigning champ right now, but hey, like you said, this is the closest he's been up front. Let's see if he can continue to go up there and run with the one machine. Is going further back on through the pack, right on that 5th spot. Cameron Harris, the 9 of Adam Angerstein, the 15 of David Hillbilly Hara. This is right where the hot spot is on the racetrack. And typically, earlier on in the run, when these guys got together, other things happened on the racetrack as well. Don't want to do anything not to invoke the common or curse here, Mike. We certainly don't need that. Is look at how all these competitors right now trying to run different lines here on the racetrack, trying to find anywhere just a little bit of mechanical grip that'll help that car just be stable through the corner.
Hara and Angerstein here have been side by side for at least 3 laps now. We've had our cameras set on them. They get it sorted out now. The 9 will fall back behind the 15, but it was just a ticking time bomb there. Really expected some carnage, but they got through it cleanly.
Yeah, they got through it cleanly, and they probably thought about that and decided, hey, you know what? We're probably not going to get away with this much longer, let alone the extra abuse the tires are going through. We're running side by side like that. But, you know, hey, sometimes sometimes no one's really good at quitting. The 7 is not quitting on that battle with the 15 as he's re-engaging. Going to go ahead and put the pressure back on Hillbilly Hara. Back up front, 77, Louis Clark, starting to do what no one else has done here tonight, and that's close the deficit, close the gap. Back on the one of Lilith Peters, and he is literally inches off the back of that Camaro. Peters really going to start feeling the pressure from that 77 as he takes it to the high side of the racetrack. Thought about the crossover maneuver. Here he goes down low. He's going to sail it in shallow. Exactly. Nice and easy. Steady Eddie. Especially when you try to send that car into the corner like that. What a job by the 77. Probably one of the best passes I have seen tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a textbook pass here in New Hampshire. It looks like it's getting a little bit brighter now. The sun might be starting to come out just a bit. And definitely the sun is coming out now for the Louis Clark camp as he puts that 77 back out front. And I don't know if Wade is out there watching this on vacation, but he's doing a number there for that 77 team, keeping that muffler man up front. One car is in the wall a little bit right behind them. Peter Terrio in third has to shoot out to get a run on the one. It's going to be an opportunity here for the 28 to take second spot away from Lil Peters and get it done.
Oh, and there's someone else there. You know that's going to be on the taking side of things, and that is the 10 of Kyle Purcell. That's one of the things I love about that race car driver, the competitive spirit inside that Toyota Camry. You never really see him just out there riding. Even if he looks like he's riding, he's strategizing. He's thinking about the next move. And that's just one of the ways he's able to just make up positions in time through this field as he's done it time and time again. Just great job, great situational awareness inside that 10 machine of just how to move through the field and how to just time the passes. Great talent inside the 10 of that race car. Speaking of great talent, another driver right there, that silver bullet, that 27 of Cameron Harris, that Chevrolet Camaro, another past champion here, as they are currently running each other pretty hard right now.
And this
Cameron
battle
Harris
is for fourth, for fourth. Cameron Harris sitting there just on the fifth spot. Hera though sniffing that bumper. He wants to get inside that top five right now too. They come down the backstretch.
You always got to be careful how much bumper you sniff.
Oh, for sure. You don't want to get addicted to bumper.
Oh.
Louis Clark here still sitting on the top spot. He's got a 0.6 second gap over Peter Terrio now as the one falls back to third.
Yeah, the one suddenly going the wrong direction. And Cliff, you got to remember, she has that big offset on the tires, and they're probably just starting to give up now. And even so, that was a great, masterful job out there by the one, just being able to hold the lead for so long. And all those restarts where grip is just ever so important, especially to get the launch on the hole shot there. And she did that time and time again. Because now she's going to fall under pressure here. The 28 machine starting to approach in on the back bumper of that ZL1 Camaro. That car is going to be getting awful big in the rear view mirror. Lil Peters is right now, he's just trying to set it up a little bit, figure out where he can possibly just rotate slipstream on by the one without putting himself in a vicarious position out there on the racetrack. And while all that's going on, Kyle Purcell's lurking. He's waiting to see if one of these two make a mistake and he can go ahead. There it is, right there. Purcell, right where he needs to be. He's going to turn it down low. He's going to take the spot, and Cameron Harris is going to follow him through right there.
Yeah, you talked about that 10 car being ever so good when it mattered. Here he is towards the tail end of this race, grabbing third place away, able to capitalize on a mistake. So hats off to that 10. He's working his way up. He's up 7 spots from where he started. Travis Rodriguez, the only other bigger mover, which he's up to 7th here. He's up 8 spots. But that 10 machine, pretty quiet most of the race, putting his car where it needed to be. Possibly when, that could have been the race move right there. If you can keep this 10 machine in the top 3, you definitely have another pit stop or two. So he's got a little bit of ways to go, but now he's got the track position, and he's got a really good opportunity to put that 10 machine where he thinks it belongs. That's in victory lane.
Yeah, that was scary smooth by the 10. It was like a velociraptor striking in Jurassic Park. The way he just knew that car was going to bobble, and you could, before you even blinked, the 10 was by. And that's what I was trying to. One of the points I was trying to make. One of the things that makes Kyle Purcell so dynamic at racing talent in that race car. And you're right, Cliff. 3rd place, up 7 spots. This is the furthest he's been on the pylon. Oh, he's going to get a little loose there, a little tire smoke. He's going to save it, get it gathered back up here. That's going to give a little bit of momentum to Cameron Harris in the 15 on the top side of the racetrack.
Oh, they touch a little bit.
Oh, they touch it a little bit. I'm telling you, he is like Ryan Newman out there on the racetrack. He's not going to let you by. Even if he slips something, he's going to make you earn it. And just right back on the offensive, trying to go back by the 15.
15 taps the wall just a little bit as they fight really hard here for 4th and 5th place. Cameron Harris goes ahead and takes 3rd away. These two are battling out on the racetrack here pretty hard. The 10 gets shuffled back but is not giving up. He keeps inching towards that 15 each and every corner. 15 looks like he's going to be able to have that preferred line now and hold him off, but do not count this 10 out. We're seeing that no one out here is perfect, and everybody's seeming to have a really loose day. I don't know if there's one car out here who hasn't really gotten at least bad loose, or if not spun out. Of course, not counting our top runners here. At least the top 3 maybe haven't. I'm not sure if the 27's got loose, or at least had an event. Man, Purcell's had his fair share. Travis Rodriguez, Clapper, Terrio, Justin Horton, Delgado, all these guys have had some trouble at some point on the racetrack here today. No one is susceptible.
Did I just see the caution lights back out on the racetrack?
Absolutely. Looks like Adam Engerstein possibly in trouble. Let's find him on the racetrack as he's sideways, not facing the direction he wants to be.
Whoa.
Easy now. Leader coming through. So let's see what happened here to Adam. Blimp view up the top here, the 9. I'd be willing to bet self-spin here is, oh yeah. Looks like the 20 was right behind him, but he spins on his own. We've seen it time and time again here tonight.
Yeah, the dude does him dirty in that 9 machine there as he just kind of just lost it on his own, just like you said. You see the back of that race car start to step out, and the minute he goes to correct it, a little bit of wheel input, and that violently changes the trajectory of that race car before you know it. You know, he's snookered in the outside wall right there in the Geico restart zone.
You know what else? He was aiming right for the water barriers there for the entry to pit road. I actually want to jump on board with him here to see just how dangerous and how close he came to these water barriers. Take a look.
You want to talk about a possible come to Jesus moment? Doesn't get any more up close and personal than that.
You wonder if, you know, he had, we'll just move on. Let's go back live, hoping that the 9 machine or Adam didn't have any accidents other than in the car there. Did a really good job at saving his own life as he was heading straight for those water barriers and able to keep it back on the racetrack and not actually go see Jesus today.
Yeah, I would have did the same thing. I would have, you know, forced my car to make impact somewhere else on the racetrack versus those water barrels right there. Plus, no one likes a free cold shower on top of it. But back under caution here, once again, Cliff, working lap 112 in the book so far. Louis Clark in the 77 tonight, not the 8. He's in McQuaid's ride tonight. Opportunity presented itself. He seized it, picking up right where he left off the last time he was able to hitch a ride with another, borrowing someone else's hot rod. He's able to capitalize. Lilith Peters holding very tough in that one car in the second position. Cameron Harris, David Hara, Evan Clapper, Kyle Purcell, Travis Jugo Rodriguez, Justin Horton, Christian Delgado, and Scott Leonardo da Vinci make up your top 10 as they run right now.
Yeah, David Lorfano able to step back in that 8 machine here tonight and was doing really well at the beginning of the race. Had some trouble ensue and is fighting to make up some laps. He's definitely he's 4 laps down here and not the first laps down, so he's got a ways to go if he's going to be a factor at the end of this. But I think the history of the night shows us that we're going to have some more cautions, and honestly, if he keeps getting cautions and keeps getting laps back, next thing you know, we're going to be talking about the 8, you know, running for a win here later on. So I've seen it happen.
And I have too, but can you imagine just even seeing that happen with the amount of impacts that car has sustained over the course of this race? But you're absolutely right. These cautions keep happening. Before you know it, you're going to have a tough competitor who's kicked into overdrive back on the lead lap. Could definitely come up and steal one here if these guys and girls out here competing on the racetrack aren't careful.
Yeah, you know, at the same time, the cautions are helping a lot of the cars towards the back, and maybe laps down and trying to gain up some positions like that. But it's also helping out the front because, yeah, they do have to keep restarting when they get in practice and restarts. And everyone, they keep getting better. Here we are. 77 shoots out like a cannon or from a cannon, as we've seen so many times, but the 1 also gets a great start. 27 Cameron Harris probably getting the best start there as he is side by side with the 1 for second place. try to get that pass done and try to possibly hunt down. Oh, nice one jump in behind the one. He thinks better of that. So we're all chasing again Louis Clark from across the pond. The only driver out here from England. And most of the other drivers here from America, but Nathan Christensen, one of the only Canadians in the field here. So a couple of not American. Oh no.
Hey, you know what? Louis Clark from across the park, England, man, that guy represents hard in that car. He's a great competitor. And then we go all the way back down to 17th. Nathan Christensen. I'm originally from Niagara Falls, New York. I could literally reach out and touch Ontario. They called me a Can American. That's the land of Molson Triple X and Labatt Blue Beer. Some of the best beer on the face of the planet. Hopefully he's got a couple of those here in him. But Nathan Harris, like you said, representing for the Maple Leafs, and Louis Clark from across the park representing from everyone over in England. Doing a great job of it right now, too, as he got that 77 out there on point, carrying the torch, making it, I don't want to say he's making it look easy, but that car is looking stable. And that is just huge right now, as we've seen just every type of way to lose control of the vehicle on display here tonight. With some great driving, great drivers piloting them. But that 77 just seems to have figured something out here. That car is just able to rotate through the corner, pointed straight. That's safe for Lewis Peters as well. But that 27, the Coors Light, the silver bullet is coming to life. Those Rockies are getting hot.
Yeah, 27 putting on the pressure there, the one right in the bumper.
He's really starting to turn it up. Oh, you see that little bit of a, don't know maybe if that was calculated input there or if he broke traction there right off the back of the one machine. Going back now, Kyle Purcell in that 10 car, back up to 5th, up 5 spots. There's another caution or two. You bet you his name will be in the mix. You see a lot of hard racing going on between Evan Clapper and the 57. I believe he's got Guns N' Roses on board his car here tonight.
Yeah, I'll switch up from the Clapper that he usually has on his vehicle. Gotta take a look here through the field with Justin Horton now back here in 9th, Travis Rodriguez in 10th. Things have shuffled up quite a bit here. Try to see if we can show everyone where everyone is running currently and maybe get a glimpse of your favorite driver if you're watching at home. Thank you for joining us. Let us know who you're
hello! Hello!
A little bit of action.
Adam Angerstein. I think you need a shout stick for that race suit, because that was not what he wanted to see inside that race car. And that was a wild ride, as he was just pointed, towards the inside wall at not a good approach angle there, and somehow able to collect it back up. Just when we thought. But Cliff, it just seems like it just happens, just like Phantom, just at random. And just
Here
when
we
we
are.
think,
Caution is back out. I think. So I'm looking around. I don't see any trouble here. Do we have fans out here throwing beanbags on the racetrack again? Maybe not.
yeah, those cornhole players getting a little rowdy. They wanted a caution. We got all those beanbag surpluses, all those corn kernels out there. Get a little slick out there on the racetrack, and it looks like we have a caution for debris.
Yeah, I think we got some excitement out there. The fans here to not only root on these drivers, but thank Holio Cornhole Bags and Boards for sponsoring the race. So showing their appreciation by tossing out some bean bags and getting us a debris caution to get the field racked back up and get some action. Louis Clark, Lilith Peters up front, battling out all day. They will continue to do so as we turn lap 125 of 175. We're going to jump side by side and take a commercial break. And we will be right back, so do not go away. SimRacingNews.com. Check that out. Welcome back to the racetrack. Just under 50 to go here in the Great Northeast. Someone's going home with a lobster. Will it be Louis Clark, Lilith Peters, Cameron Harris, David Herrick, Kyle Purcell as they come across the line? Green flag will fly, or as they come at the line, I should say.
Back under green flag racing, and the L&L show quickly becomes the L and Cameron Harris show as he gets a great restart there, putting the pressure on the one machine. Has the preferred line and the advantage as they are drag racing side by side down the backstretch. Here we go, getting into the corner, carrying some steam. This is where these cars have just had zero grip. They do an excellent job staying off of each other as they continue to almost be door to door as Cameron Harris backs off a little bit, decides to fall in line, live to fight another lap. And as all this is going on, this is allowing the 10, Kyle Purcell, to reel these guys in. Oh, the 27 there gets, the 14, everyone's snapping loose.
Larry Garn's in trouble, Tyrone Yo in trouble. On board with Larry Garns here. As they start getting loose in front of him, he's trying to roll it up and get loose himself.
I mean, it looked like someone put bacon grease out there on the racetrack. And I know that wasn't the case, but it was like once someone, broke their momentum and got loose, everyone else was having to react and trying to counter, and their car was not having it either.
Well, Tyrone Yo going to get loose and find, I'm not sure if that was the 5 of Rodney Uberpacker. No. Yeah, just a whole, just a big old mess there. As we've seen basically all night, some cars getting loose, real slick out there, and I think unexpectedly slick is what we're seeing. A lot of these guys and gals are just not expecting it to be this slick, and finding themselves a little bit sideways more than they would like to be, and we're seeing a lot of snappy loose type things like you called out earlier, and it's kind of happened so quick. You try to catch it, but you find yourself turned around real quick.
Yeah, just bam, just all of a sudden, just bam, and you have no idea as a race car driver when it's coming. Just once again, we're back under caution here. That iRacing.com Chevrolet Silverado at the point. Lights are on, which means we got multiple laps before we go back to the green flag side of things. Cliff, we're working lap 130. The scheduled distance tonight, 167 laps. If you have any tires left in the pits, do you come down this time? Or do you pretty much bank on the fact there's going to be more cautions and you sit and wait before you put that last set of fresh tires on that car?
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait. You know, I think it's, if I grab, I guess it really depends. It looks like by the times, everyone did grab tires last time they came down pit road, which is lap 111. So I think we got enough rubber on these tires where we want to just stay out right now. I'm almost guaranteeing there's going to be another caution, so I want to save my set of tires for that reason. And yeah, I'm staying out. I'm waiting. Give me another 20, 30 laps or so. I guarantee you we'll see the yellow again. And then I'm going to come down and get a fresh set, hopefully go to the end there. You know, you never want to leave a set in the pits, but you also don't want to use them up too soon. So you guys, you know, they're walking that fine line between the set of tires they've got and how many cautions we've seen and how many we're gonna see before it's over. And it's a strategy game right to the very end.
Not only is it a strategy game, think about the others, the psychological side, as a driver knowing at any point in time, my car may just go rogue on me, and I'll be pointing in the wrong direction before I know it. And once that seems to happen, it's almost impossible to save it. Back up front, continuing to be the star of the show here today, again in prime time. That's 77, Louis Clark. You guys watched a couple weeks ago, you're saying, Matt, that's not the right car number. Nothing, just kind of picking up where he left off. Opportunity to get into some good equipment arose. Louis Clark was at the right place and at the right time. And once again, he is maximizing this opportunity, keeping that Camaro out front here for majority of this race.
Yeah, a couple of Camaros up on the front row. That's Louis Clark and Will Peters. It's been a battle between these two cars just about all day for who's going to lead the most laps. But right now they've got the 10 and 27 who are hungry right behind them. That's Cameron Harris and Kyle Purcell. Can they make a pass in the front two? Who will shoot out and take the top spot, Clark or Peters? Looks like it's going to be Louis Clark yet again in that 77 Muffler Man machine. He's going to bring the 27 with him this time.
Yeah, the Muffler Man's got the cherry bombs blasted as he's going out there getting that restart taken care of, all situated back to the point once again, carrying the torch. Willith Peters continues to work in very close proximity. And the 27 of Cameron Harris, it's Coors time because he is coming to the front. And he's bringing the 15 of Hillbilly Hara and the 10 of Kyle Purcell with him as well.
It's another one of those situations where we keep saying it. Every caution flag and restart we get is another opportunity to get everything you can. You know, that track position that you've been wanting for, or the opportunity to catch up to that car in front of you. You're there, you got it. Have a good restart and try to make something happen here.
But the other side of that, Clint, catching him is one thing. Passing him is another, and that's certainly not guaranteed, because we've seen that time and time again out here on the racetrack.
Well said. Louis Clark's got a mirror full of the one machine of Lilith Peters. Oh, she gets a little bit loose. Almost tags the wall there, but catches it. Surprising that 27 wasn't right there to capitalize on that.
And you know, from the sounds of it, or just from what we've seen tonight, 27 may be thankful he was unaware that was about to happen. So the car changes direction so quick. Sometimes you anticipate where you want to go, and you know where the car should go. But that just hasn't been the case tonight. They have went completely rogue and took uncharacteristical routes as they're currently breaking traction and sliding out there on this oval here tonight. Watch 27.
Here we are, single file, just about through the entire field. As drivers kind of calm down just a little bit after that last caution. And you got to think here, like you talked about that you know, the mental state of everything with the race. Now, you know, towards the end, we're in the last third of this race, and fatigue has to be starting to set in. You've been sitting now in the same seat for a couple hours if you're including practice time before the race, and you know, you're starting to, hopefully you're staying hydrated. Hopefully you're not getting a little too hydrated, if you know what I'm saying. But the race is coming towards the end, and that's when it really starts to matter, when fatigue starts to set in. You got to keep your mental, your head on your shoulders, and stay focused and stay in the race, because you got to be there at the end. This is when it's going to matter. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here.
Right, you have to survive. You have to survive the war on the battlefield and come out on the other side, being in the front or in the thick of things, to win it in the end. And you're exactly right. These drivers have been just going to battle, gripping and ripping on that steering wheel lap after lap, trying to keep this car in one piece, pointed in the right direction. And even with this force feedback setup, and as complex as some of these wheels are, oh, here we go again. The 72 finds himself sideways, almost coming in contact with the commitment cone here on pit road. And I believe that's going to bring the caution out one more time as he gets it fired back up. We're staying green. We're
staying green. He got it fired back up and back out on the racetrack as he almost went down pit road, but saved it. And yeah, we were on the other side of the racetrack when that happened, so he is going to catch back up hopefully, but we'll stay green here. Lap 141 of 175. I'd say another great call on race control to keep that one green.
The words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, Corey's on top of his toes today. He's on his toes. He's on top of him. I don't know. He's doing great. Louis Clark continuing to lead here. Half a second back is the one of Lilith Peters. David Harris third, Cameron Harris sitting fourth, and Kyle Purcell going to round out our top five as things kind of start to calm down just a hair, dare I say it. I'll knock on wood, as we just saw the 72 of Jeremy Flanagan straight sideways, on almost flying down pit road, and I'm going to say it's calmed down, but for all intents and purposes, things have calmed down just a little bit. Single file racing, I got to assume some of these drivers are just trying to tick off laps now and get at least towards the end of this race and finish this one up. We got a break after this week. We'll have nothing from the AARL folks next Tuesday, as they'll take a break, and after that we come back to Talladega, the high banks of Talladega, 2.66 mile, the longest racetrack on the circuit, and one of the most exciting, but definitely a wild card. So join us then. We will miss you for a week. You'll miss myself and Matt, but tune in for sure if you're into the racing every Tuesday night, if it's your thing. We've got many other series that run on Sim Racing Media. So you'll definitely not miss out on any racing. Go ahead.
We definitely won't miss out on any racing, like Cliff said. 7 nights a week right here at SRM. You just got to smash the like button, ring the bell, become part of the family, and let us do the rest and bring you the content and the high-flying racing action. But Cliff, after this race here tonight, that break week couldn't have come at a better time for these drivers just to kind of hit their master reset button after this one. And we go right back under the gauntlet at Talladega from Earnhardt country. the track that basically the advertised message of that racetrack, if you start the race, you can win it. Where anyone has a shot. Another drastic wild card track with a lot of drama, high-flying action going to unfold when we pick things back up after this break. So, believe me, these drivers...
No, you can go ahead.
You know, a lot of these drivers probably didn't anticipate, you know, this type of trouble out here tonight, just keeping the car, you know, doing simple things like, you know, turning and, you know, rotating the center of the corner, things like that. And this break couldn't have come at a better time.
How dare you say a simple thing like turning? It sounds very easy. It's definitely a lot harder than it sounds. What I was going to say, though, is that what I love about their schedule and the way it's broken out is we got 16 races. They take a little bit of a break between the 2-8, and we kind of come back to a super speedway to restart the second half of the season here. So it's almost like, you know, a reset, like you're saying, but we even same mindset where we come start the season at Daytona, a big super speedway wild card race. We're going to take a break now and come do the second half of the season. We'll come right back to a super speedway race, wild card. We're going to get, you know, packed high-speed racing and get that excitement flowing again. Then we'll go to Kentucky in a road course at Watkins Glen, and going to do some other really fun stuff. So if you want to check it out, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification. Get a ping every time we go live and with the racing action. We're glad to have you tonight, but yeah, we'll miss you next week. We'll be back to Talladega in 2 weeks.
Yeah, big things popping for sure over the last 2 weeks of competition. Once we get to Talladega, looking back on this one. But look at that 77 of Louis Clark, just continuing to do enough to stay out in front of that one machine of Lilith Peters. That gap just inside, you know, inside that 1 second mark, at 7/10 of a second right now.
9 cars in trouble.
Once again, Adam Angerstein has angered that Toyota Camry, and it has gotten a little out of sorts of shape out there on the racetrack. As you can see him right there, he kind of just broke traction coming off the corner there.
Yeah,
tried to come up and correct it, tried to catch it, and for whatever reason tonight, catching it is not like traditionally catching a race car. It looks like they're on ice out there on the racetrack, and they're just holding on from the point they lose.
Let's take a look from it on board. You kind of see what you're saying, how quickly you can almost feel it. Just by watching it, you feel where those tires grab and just turn you the wrong way. And you knew your day was going to go from bad to worse just from the feeling of that. Well, here we go. Sorry, everyone coming down pit road this time. We've got 25 laps to go. This is it. We were talking about this. We were hoping we left a set of tires in the pits. We're going to grab them now. There may be more, you know, we're definitely, I don't think we're done having cautions. We'll be real, but at least you got your fresh set of tires on. You're probably going to get a full tank of fuel, and you're not going to come back to pit road until this one is in checkered flag conditions.
Yeah, that right there is the Mike DeMoney stop, or the money stop right here. Mike, you're watching. Still thinking about you, man. Promoting all the guys, all of our team here, right here at SRM, because we are putting in some seat time covering all this racing action. So much fun being up here in the booth week in and week out. We get to watch and cover all the great action throughout the iRacing.com series. But Louis Clark, what a drive tonight again. This man just thrives in adversity. You put him in a situation where it's full of unknowns, and he just comes to life. It's just,
you know,
direct.
You show up on race day, and you go and you register, and you're putting your name down there on the list of names, and you're looking over who's here already. And you see Louis Clark on there, and it's like you already know you're fighting for second place. Kid's got a lot of talent, and anytime he enters a race, you know he's going to be a challenger. Showing us that is the case here tonight, as he is holding off one of the best sim racers I've ever witnessed with my own eyes, and that's Lilith Peters in that one machine. hats off to both of those drivers for having such a great day, staying out of trouble, keeping their cars up front. But right behind them, one of your biggest advocates here, the number 10, Kyle Purcell. One half of the Purcell brothers, the other half not having a great day, but we'll keep it focused on the 10. He has been outstanding. Put his car, we saw a great pass, at about halfway. We called it then. That could have been the move of the race for the 10 machine. Currently sitting in a podium position, so he's got his car where it needs to be, when it needs to be. It will be about 20 to go here when we get back to it.
He's out there looking like Shifty McGee tonight in that 10 machine, the way he's able just to make that car kind of, scoot around other cars out there on the racetrack in these corners, which, quite frankly, a lot of other competitors can't do or just execute. But that's not the case for that 10 machine. Inside the top 4, sitting in the catbird seat right now, he's going to give it everything he has to try and get up there and steal one. And trust me, David Harrick, Christian Delgado, Lilith Peters, they haven't forgot about that win potential. They all want it bad right now, but no one wants it better than that 77 of Louis Clark as he looks to close the deal out from a dominating performance here in the Northeast. Back under green flag conditions, another great restart. The 27 comes up and gives the 10 of Purcell a bump. They're able to get everything all cleared up. Oh, a little tight there coming through the center of the corner, but they're going to be able to keep it off each other. We're going back down the drag racing, back down the back straightaway one more time here. As the 77 continues to carry the torch. As we're 3 wide here. Oh,
hard to keep track of all the action right there. We're 3 wide, 2 wide. The 15 and the 14 are getting into it across the line. We've got
they are
20
literally
to go here. Sorry.
You're good. And you're right. It's almost impossible to cover all the action as they're using literally every
Oh,
inch
no. The 5 is going to turn. Oh, man.
He just took flight.
Who was that?
I believe that was our buddy Scott Leonardo da Vinci. He just kind of went space shuttle status there.
Gets into the wall a couple times. It gets real. Yeah. So he gets.
Watch this.
Oh, hello. Helicopter. That was a fun ride. How about we go on board with that? What do you think?
I'd like to see him do that again. I mean, from an X Games perspective, that would get some good things.
Oh, straight X Games mode right here. Hang on tight, ladies and gentlemen.
Watch the violent whip. Oh. Could you imagine the G-forces inside that race car?
Is that a 720, 900? How many times did he go around there?
I thought he did a 1080.
The 1080, all right, I love it. Definitely huge style points right
We're
there.
going to have to get Travis Pastrana and Nitro Circus queued up for verification there. That's more in their wheelhouse. But, hey, if you're going to wreck, do it in style like that. That was pretty entertaining.
Take a look here and see where. Yeah, so he's on pit road right now. I probably got some mess in his helmet to clean up after that wreck and that violent 1080 he just took. Hopefully he's not in VR, because if that, he may be feeling sick there on pit road. He might need a minute.
He might actually have a sim racing injury there.
Yeah, all jokes aside, he definitely can have some bad things happening. You've got steering wheels that have, the amount of force that they do now, and the way that the steering wheel can rip out of your hands. You could definitely have a pretty serious wrist injury that can happen. Also, if you happen to be in VR, you could definitely have a little bit of a mishap and get a little bit of motion sickness there. Hopefully none of those are the case there for Scott Leonard. He's currently still sitting on pit road, though, so we do have to wonder.
Yeah, that car's probably bent like a boomerang. think he used his fast repair earlier in this one as well. So while Scott Leonard is in the pits after taking a wild ride, Louis Clark, Lilith Peters, Kyle Purcell, Peter Theriault, and Christian Delgado are going to try and settle this amongst themselves here, because we're coming down to the end, coming down to the wire here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, working lap 158.
18 left. After all that adversity we've seen, we've got 18 to go. Things are definitely going to stay wild.
Whoa, look at that. That 16 is really anticipating the start.
Yeah, it's already wild. I said it's going to stay wild. It's already wild. These guys and gals are just ready to finish this one up and are going to race their hearts out here. As long as that flag is green, they're going to stand in it. 17, we'll have 16 to go when we get to the line. It's going to be 16 hard fighting laps if we stay green. But it's been a wild night, so who knows? We'll see as it unfolds live here from New Hampshire. Louis Clark, Lilith Peters. Pace truck is off.
The pace truck is off and the loud pedal is on. The 77 shoots back out to the point as we climb up through the gearbox. 77, the one to Lilith Peters. But here comes the purifier, Kyle Purcell, closing in all over the back of that one machine. And now the 28 trying to follow him through, potentially past Lilith Peters on the outside. Is Peter Theriault. He is going to pull alongside that one machine. She's working the bottom. He's working the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Kyle Purcell goes back to the Predator position. If they make a mistake, if they touch, Kyle will take that spot at the opportune moment, as we've seen him do at other points in time of that race tonight. As he's just lurking the 1 and the 28 as they are battling door to door. Right? Oh, there it is, and there goes Purcell.
He stays on the racetrack, no problem. He's still in third.
How does he do that?
I don't know how any of these guys are doing any of that. I'm seeing the one get as low as I think you could possibly get here and still stay fast. We saw the 28 of Peter Theriault staying fast, higher than I'd want to race here. We're seeing some very uncharacteristic things here from this New Hampshire racetrack. So I'm just, it's pretty crazy. It's been a wild night.
You just got to roll with it, right? Just take it. Don't think, just do. And if that's what you're doing here tonight, you're probably with the 77 of Louis Clark, the 1 of Lilith Peters, or the 10 of Kyle Purcell, who just has a sixth sense about him in that Camry right now. Just knows right before something's about to pop off and just quickly maneuvers that race car. It makes it look so easy as he leapfrogs positions time and time again tonight. We're still under green flag conditions, and we're going back to single file here. Everyone kind of trying to play nice, even though it's late into this one, because they know how tough it is and difficult just to make a corner here at speed, let alone battling for position.
Louis Clark continues to lead. Peter second, Kyle Purcell third. We're watching the 15 and the 67 battle it out here for seventh. Cameron Harris sixth, and Christian Delgado is going to be running in our top 5. Evan Clapper sitting in fourth as the 15 tries to make a pass over the 67. He gets loose right there. This is the most excitement right now. The closest racing on the track as the 15 actually loses it, falls back just a little bit. So not going to work out for that 15 machine of David Hara. They have to gather it back up. 11 laps to go. Meanwhile, up front, the gap 0.8 seconds ahead of Lilith Peters. Oh, caution.
And
Theriault.
the reigning champion, the 28 in that Ford Mustang, Peter Theriault, who had trouble early, did a great job rebounding, had speed late, now finds himself once again caught up in the melee here at the 1.06 mile speedway. Oh, he just
got way up in the rubble there.
Way up.
Way too high here at New Hampshire. Car got away from him. He had to chase it up the hill, and well, there's not much of a hill, is there? But had to chase it up the track, and that's the result there. Peter Terrio falls back to 14th place, and the caution will come back out. We're gonna jump side by side, take one more caution. Excuse me, break here, and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Back live at the racetrack for the Polio Cornhole Board 175 here from New Hampshire. 8 laps to go here. We'll have, what, 7 to go when we, or actually 6 to go, I think, when we get back to racing. Unless I'm mistaken there, but not a lot is what I'm getting at. We are down to it. Every time we, every lap that goes by is closer to now or never. And, we may have just seen the final caution. We may not. We'll get it done, though. We might have to go into overtime, and we will if we have to. But let's see which driver here is going to have the best opportunity. I'd say the 10. I think the 10's got a really good opportunity to grab at least first or second place away from one of these top runners. The 77's fast on the restarts, and the 10's right behind him. If he can keep his nose in there underneath the 1, he might have a great chance at it.
Yeah, absolutely right. And so many, and this is basically anyone has a shot at this. I mean, respect it realistically inside the top 5, top 6 right now. Especially if they have trouble on this restart here, this could easily swing, Bagley to, another competitor's direction here that we wouldn't anticipate with the way this race has been trending. That would certainly make sense tonight, as we've seen just some freak things that we haven't seen all season long here. And that being mechanical grip here in the corners on the racetrack. Here we go. They are loaded, and here we go. Uncork these drivers one more time here as the 77 gets out of Dodge quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Start. And just as I said, the 10 keeps his nose underneath that 1. He opportunity knocked. He answered the door, but can he hold on to it? 27 going around.
Oh, here we go.
27, 28 involved. David Hara, David Lorfano as well. That's Harrison Terrio on screen.
Yeah, we just blew the lid off the pressure cooker in the back.
Yeah, we did.
Simultaneous spins again at once out there on the racetrack, Cliff.
Yeah, it looks like this time Cameron Harris and Peter Terrio spinning. Yeah, Harris spun right in front of, actually it might have been the 7 spinning as well. And then behind them, really, you don't have anywhere to go, so The mess
You know, and
ensues. Carnage.
it looks like there's talcum powder out there on the racetrack. Like, I don't know if when you were growing up, if you had a go-kart track and they had the slip track, they put talcum powder out there to purposely make your car slide in the corners. I mean, these guys just look like they're holding on for dear life at times. They have no control over the vehicle. And once again, just an explosion in the back of the field as multiple cars once again spinning out of control simultaneously, collecting other competitors, just unfortunate at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, this should, I believe this will bring us to a green-white checkered situation. Which is, basically our overtime. I'm not sure, depending on when we go green here, if this will be considered a green-white checker or if it's just a natural. But it's basically our overtime. To get down to it, a green-white checkered situation. If we get another flag before the caution comes out, we'll get another chance to run it. If we get a caution after the white flag comes out, that'll freeze the field and finish up the race. Hopefully we get to finish it under green.
2 to green right now. We're at lap 173. So Cliff, it looks like if we can keep it clean, we'll finish this race out at the scheduled distance. But sure, any other incidences decide to surface or pop off here at New Hampshire after we go back green, that's going to put us into overtime, extended lap territory, which I can't even imagine with the way this race has trended, what that would look like.
Yeah, we knew they weren't finished wrecking. I'm hoping they are now. See if we can get this one finished up here. And, the action hasn't stopped. It's been a rough racetrack and a lot of hard fighting on the track, and these race car drivers are giving it their all lap after lap here. So we will see as we come across the line here. The truck should turn those lights off,
and indeed they are out. And the 77 has to be saying to himself, how many restarts do I have to win the race? Lilith Peters, Kyle Purcell, Justin Clapper, all up there within striking distance. And they certainly will, as everyone wants to win just as bad as each and every other competitor inside that hornet's nest right there at the front of the field. And Louis Clark.
David Harra bringing that car down one last time there last minute in that 15 machine. He's going to come around, circle up, and catch the tail end of the field here with possibly what could be his last set of freshies. We'll have 2 to go here when we come across the line. Let's see if we can get her done.
Can we survive the final?
Pace truck is staying on. Lights have come back on. They're going to get something sorted out here.
Well, the question is, was that extended for the green-white checkered? Yes, it will be. I'm seeing in the black box here, the race will be extended for a green-white checkered finish.
Okay,
that's
so
the reason.
That'll do it. This is our first official green-white checker. Looks like race control made that decision.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the decision, but then again, I'm not race control either.
Yeah.
Just maybe gives everyone just a little bit more time to get situated, get the field formed up nice and tight as best they can. Because once again, we go lights out on the pace truck. Those fires are burning bright inside of those competitors in the race car. You can count on that as they have probably worked as hard as they ever have on any mile track in their iRacing career like they have tonight. Here we go one more time. 77, he is going to walk it out again at the start-finish line and pull a couple car lengths on Lilith Peters. But here comes the Purifier closing in on the back of the one. starting to apply the pressure. It always slips up the racetrack. The 16 had a run, but also slipped.
All kinds of slipping going on back here in the field. Louis Clark holds off the one so far. 2 to go. They'll come across the line to catch the white flag.
Yeah, and as the other competitors slipped and lost their grip, the advantage went back to the 10 of Purcell, who looked like he was going the wrong way, but everyone else wasn't able to execute a clean corner as well. Now you see the 57 of Clapper trying to close in on the back of that 10 car.
Next flag will end the race.
Is it going to be a checkered flag or a caution flag?
Oh, the one sends it hard, trying to make up some ground on the 77 at the last moment, but Louis Clark will come across the line as the winner here.
Gets it done in the lobster state. I believe they get a lobster here if they win in New Hampshire.
They certainly do.
Switch a ride and steal a win. The 77 Louis Clark does it again. Takes Patrick McQuaid's Camaro, puts it back up front. And the 77 once again in the face of adversity. Brand new car, not a problem. I got this. Louis Clark, hello. Great win by that team again. But how about the drive, those last laps by Lilith Peters, the 10 of Kyle Purcell, Evan Clapper, Justin Horton, just giving it everything they had out there lap after lap. No quitting any of those drivers. Currently, this one is now officially in the history books. Take note, that's not Patrick McQuaid in that car tonight. That is Louis Clark from across the pond getting it done in New England.
There you go, burning it down. That's the 77 there, Louis Clark. We'll go ahead and try to grab our top 3 drivers here. Kyle Purcell being our 3rd place finisher. Kyle Purcell on the 10 machine. Kyle, it's Cliff and Matt in the booth. You got us?
I do, I gotcha.
Hey man, P3, not too shabby. We really were watching you throughout the race, methodically working your way up very quietly. Found yourself in 3rd, but it looked like just about no one had anything for the 77 or the 1. But you were our best bet. Take us through your race.
Yeah, I mean, you know, had a little trouble early, rubbed some fenders and got spun, but slowly recovered, a little bit off tire strategy early, got back on strategy, and just tried to make no major mistakes. So just a few little mistakes here and there, and I was able to just slowly work my way past people that pushed a little harder than I did. And, you know, I knew I didn't have the speed to win it off of raw just speed, lap times. So I just figured try to keep the car clean and hope I'm towards the front at the end, and that's where I found myself.
There were definitely a lot of fenders rubbed all over the field here tonight. A pretty wild one here up in New Hampshire. We thank you for running so hard and having a great show. You helped us put on a great show. We couldn't do it without you guys. But yeah, congrats to P3. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we send you back?
Yeah, just a shout out to Rodney, Adam, and Juggles putting me in this assault car, being my teammates, and nice to have some speed the last couple of weeks. Couple straight podiums, getting the win last week, and just a lot of speed in the team right now. Juggles was up there a lot of the race too, so good time to be a Toyota right now for us.
No doubt. Well, enjoy the week off, and we'll see you back here at Talladega. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk to you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
Kyle Purcell, the Purifier, as you like to call him, coming across the line 3rd. Next up on the list, P2 is going to go to Lilith Peters, our defending points champion. Lilith, it's Cliff and Matt in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
10-4. Well, fighting very hard all day with that 77 machine. Heck of a job staying out of trouble, keeping that one machine up front where it belongs, and hanging on to your points lead. Take us through your race.
That was a pretty good race for me, obviously. But I didn't really have anything for Louis, so I just kind of wanted to bring it home, which was getting frustrating with all those cautions, but at least I made it out in one piece.
Absolutely. Tell us about that last lap, last turn send it. Was that a Hail Mary?
Oh yeah, I've practiced that before.
Oh,
It
okay,
worked,
okay.
but I tried.
Well, you got to give it your all in the last lap, which you did. Coming across P2, not too shabby. Lilith, thank you for joining us. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we send you back?
Sure. Thanks to the Cup Series sponsor, Blue Grave Fabrication. And then thank you guys for broadcasting this. I'm sure it took a lot of patience. I'd like to thank my team and my team owner, Jeremy. Kaiju Cat Motorsports. I've got Luna steak sauce on the hood here. You can get that at boxfirefoods.com.
Very good.
That's
Well,
it.
congrats again. Enjoy the break, as I'm saying to everyone, and we'll see you back here at Talladega.
See you guys next week.
There you have it, our P2 finisher. And without any further ado, we'll go ahead and grab our winner here. Louis, Cliff, and Matt in the booth. You got us?
Hello, guys. How are you?
Doing great. Go ahead, Matt.
Louis Clark once again, steal a ride, steal a win, deja vu. That 77, different number, same person at the point, Louis Clark from across the pond. You do it once again. I mean, walk me through that race, Louis. It looked like virtually everyone out there, it seemed like the corners on that racetrack were so slick. I mean, forget about trying to pass on it. Look like you guys were just trying to hold on and just getting the car to rotate around the racetrack. Was that the case out there?
I mean, my car, it felt okay. This 77 Muffler Man Chevy Camaro was good. When we got a few, I'll call them little stints in, you know, the car was perfect. I didn't feel like it was tight or anything. I knew the other guys on my team were struggling with tightness and even just being loose off of 2 and 4. But this Muffler Man Camaro, mate, was just amazing all day. The crew were amazing. Yeah, man, it was really good.
Yeah, and in fact, Cliff and I commented throughout the course of that race time and time again. I mean, your car looked to have the most balance and grip, mechanical grip, out of anyone in the field. And that certainly it speaks for itself in the way you were able to dominate that race. You get another win, get it done here at New Hampshire. Patrick McQuaid obviously out, you're in. So where does this take you from here, Louis? You got 2 wins now on the season. What car are we gonna see you next time?
I'll be at Talladega in a couple of weeks' time. Again, don't know what car will be in yet, but we needed this win as a driver. You know, we should have won Charlotte, but I was a bit over aggressive and touched the 28, and that ruined my race. So we needed this, not just the team, but me, myself.
Well, certainly, I mean, this the unknown works to your advantage. You embrace it, and you rise to the occasion. Second week on the season, Louis Clark, before I cut you loose, who helps you? I mean, who helps you get it done on that car? I know Patrick McQuaid was probably a big part of putting it in that car. Who else do you want to thank on that 77 team?
Well, we Muffler Man up in Columbus Road. Patrick's part of the world. They're the sponsor on the car. It looks really neat. Patrick McQuaid himself for asking me to drive it while he's on his honeymoon in the Bahamas. Lucky for some. Mayhem Motorsports and the Hillbilly Motorsports collaboration. You know, we all make it together and just see where each other can push harder. That's what makes us that extra little bit quicker, just pushing each other and just seeing what each other's doing. And yeah, you guys up there broadcasting, I know this was a bit of a long race for you, a bit of a caution fest. And both Daves for putting this show on for us.
There's nowhere else I'd rather be tonight.
And I'll back you up 100% on that one, Cliff. Watching Louis Clark and all the other great competitors, great talent out there on the racetrack. He once again ices the competition. The Iceman himself, Louis Clark, gets it done in P1 tonight. He's your winner, and that's another one of these races in the history books from the short track of New England right here in New Hampshire. Want to thank all you guys for coming out and watching right here on SRM. Make sure you smash the like button, ring the bell. Don't forget there's a break in the action, but we make up for it in 2 weeks. We go Talladega style, super speedway racing, Earnhardt country. You're not going to want to miss it. That's 2 weeks from today. Until then, I'm Matt on the comms. That's Cliff on the switches with the cameras and more. Have a great night. We'll see you guys next time.
Of course, before we do that, we'll definitely want to run through our finish results.
Oh my God, I got ahead of myself. Thank you.
That's all right. Louis Clark comes across the line first. Lilith Peters second. Kyle Purcell's going to round out the top three and sit on the podium there. Evan Clapper with a hell of a run, finishing fourth. Justin Horton takes the top five. Christian Delgado is going to finish sixth, with Travis Rodriguez finishing seventh. Rodney Uberpacker takes eighth place, with Tyrone Yo Jr. behind him finishing ninth. Larry Garnes is going to finish with a top 10 tonight.
I'll bring you guys the rest of the way through the field. In 11th position, Nathan Christensen. 12th, that's going to be Cameron Harris. Residing in 13th, the 72 at Jeremy Flanagan. 15th, that's going to be David Hara. In 15th, Scott Leonardo da Vinci. The 8 machine comes home 16th. That's David Larfano, who got himself involved in unfortunate multiple incidences early in this one. Peter Terrio, another past champion, dominant force in the series. Same story. Gets caught up in multiple incidences on the racetrack. Winds up 17th. In 18th, the 9 of Adam Angerstein. And rounding out your field tonight, the 00 of Sean Purcell.
Thank you, Matt, and that'll definitely do it for us tonight. You can join us again in 2 weeks. We thank you for watching, and for everyone back at Sim Racing Media, have a great night. All right, we're clear.